Has it already ended? No, it looks good. Okay, everything's looking decent. So let's hope this works. Welcome everybody to Drawsome Live, where this week I'm doing it by myself because uh, Jen is away on a date. Her husband is taking her away from us. So yeah. Hey Cynthia, how you doing? This week we are doing hats. So I drew this really cute kitty on a pumpkin with a witch's hat. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna get a little practice in for uh, Inktober, which is coming up. I don't know if anybody knows about Inktober, um, or if you even care about Inktober. But what it is it's by Jake Parker, who's an illustrator for children's books, and he came up with it several years ago to help practice his inking skills. So that's if I can find the right pen. Um, yeah, and people take part in it all around the world, and it's very cool. He puts out a prompt list, and everybody goes by the prompt list, and it's very neat. I've been taking part in it now, probably um, this will be my fifth year, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have a good time, and it's just to help get your inking skills a little more honed. And he has opened it up to digital as well, which there was a lot of controversy over that. But anybody can take part, and it's very fun. It's takes part in all of October. There are 31 prompt words to help cover the whole month. And the prompt list, in fact, I just found it the other day, which is very cool. And I have already started to sketch some of my stuff for the month because I do put out a video every day, the full month of October. I have a really good time with it. That's where I actually met a lot of my YouTube art friends like Jen. We met last year, so it'll be a whole year that we've known each other come October. So how are you doing, Cynthia? I hope this week has found you good. Yeah, I figured I'd been doing hats. I figured I would do a witch's hat, and I picked out several pictures off of Google for to learn how to get the brim just right and all those types of things. Because I really wanted to make it look real wrinkly and old and floppy. And there's not many pictures on the internet that look that way. So It was kind of hard to find just the right picture. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is fun stuff. I appreciate you all coming by and hanging out with me, to be sure. It is my wish that everybody here has a good time and can, you know, learn something maybe. Not necessarily, but if I can help anybody on their art journey, that is my goal. And as like I've always told everyone, if I don't know how to do it, I will find someone who does and steer you into their direction. Simply because it's important. It's important. If it's important to you, it's important to me. This is a Micron. 03 is the size because they come in a myriad of different sizes. I don't know if you can see how tiny that nib is for a 3 on 03. They're very small. But I have numerous ones. Let me show you all of them. For instance, and these are all waterproof. Fine liners is what they're primarily known for. This is the graphic. It's a 1, and it's like a felt tip. And then we've got the others, which is the O1s, which are pretty small. They're even smaller than the O3s. Excuse me. And then we have an 08, so you can see how much chunkier that is. And then we've got the brush, which is literally a brush. It's very, it makes like really cool. You can make very variable lines with it. And yeah. And then I've got this 005, and this Micron does come in this size. I just don't happen to have one, but it's itty bitty. It's like a hair. It's very tiny, and it's great for like doing hatching and cross hatching with, which I will be doing some of that in this picture. Um, but yeah, I love the Micron pens. They're notably, I mean, lots of artists use them for their lining their artworks. And it's because they are waterproof, so you can use them under a watercolor painting if you want. Which is nice knowing that they're not gonna bleed all over the place and run all over the place and make a mess. But thank you for asking that question. They are really nice pens. It can be a little bit on the pricey side depending on where you get them. Please do me a favor, don't buy them on Wish. They are knockoffs. And they, they look every bit like a micron, but they're not. And you want to, if you're going to be doing artwork that, you know, you want it to last, you definitely want to get something that's, the real McCoy, not a fake. There's another brand of marker also made by, well, these are the Spectrum Noir Artliners, and I have found these to be really great also. Um, and then the Uniball Eye is just happens to be one of my favorites. It's really very smooth. Again, it doesn't, bleed when it gets wet. It's very permanent. Um, those are awesome pens. Um, this one you can actually see the ink in it. The V-Ball by Pilot is another one. This is an '07. Um, kind of large, but they're good pens as well. Again, don't bleed. This one I have no clue. I think I got it in a scrawler box. I'm not sure. It's by Pilot. It's a just drawing pen, and it has Chinese writing on it, so I'm not sure. But this has a very large nib on it, so it's like whenever I'm going to go back around the outside of things, I'll use the really big one, so it's more bold. Um, but Spectrum Noir makes some really great pens. Faber-Castell makes some really good ink pens as well. So I stick with the name brands simply because it's, you don't want to skimp. And I like a good pen. If I know I'm going to be using in my artwork, I mean, if I'm just, making shopping lists or something like that, I'm not going to, whatever will do, will do. But if I'm putting some work into some artwork, I want a good pen. But yeah, I think this pussycat's going to be cute. A lot of people are doing a lot of fall artwork right now. And I am here for it. I am so ready for fall. It's just ridiculous. Definitely am ready for it. Over this hot weather. Which is kind of funny because it hasn't really been all that hot here. Not like in some places with the fires and everything. That's just been horrible. How the fires have been. There we go. way this is looking already. And let's see, that's my 05. We'll do all of our cross hatching with that. And then we'll move to the bigger pen for, looks like I can move in a little bit here. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Okay. I hope you all can see some of this. I'm going to be doing some hatching and cross hatching and just filling in some like little lines like on this hat and stuff like that. And this is a very tiny, this is a tiny little, like big as a hair. And it works very well for putting in just very small details. But I've been watching some fabulous artists lately who do some of the most incredible hatching and cross hatching skills. Oh my gosh. And yeah, this one person on Instagram in particular who just blows my mind. He gets in there and does some of the most amazing um, detail work in some of his paintings that are just amazing. And he's using just hatching and cross hatching, and they are really good. He's got a lot of detail, lots of detail. And I've never seen him use a straight edge either. And he does like architectural things, and it's just blow your mind. I'll have to look up his name and tell you all who he is, or I'll put it in the description box. Because I just watch him on Instagram, and he is just, or she, I think, I'm pretty sure it's a man that does this work, and just blows your mind. I've always been fascinated by pointillism and, that sort of thing. And I love doing it. It's just, it takes a lot of time. Lots of time. Especially if you want to get all your marks just right and get them to where they, you know, make sense, for lack of a better term. But his are always just the exact, like, distance apart. And that's, I think, what blows my mind about him. It's like, how do you do that without measuring? I guess it's just practice, 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 practice. It's definitely someone who has taken his craft to an all new level. I did I did this one picture of this cat in pointillism back when I was in high school in art class. It's the only art class I've ever taken. And hated it. But wasn't because it was art class, it was because of my teacher. I couldn't stand her. But it was supposed to be in pointillism, and I kind of cheated just a wee bit. When I got to the mouth and it was all black, I was just like, "There's no way I'm doing that many dots," you know. So I just kind of took a felt tip marker, and just filled it in. But the rest is all in pointillism, and it turned out really cool. I'm debating on whether to add some color to this or not, because I'm very tempted to do that. Because I don't know if I can add the shadows in this moon in the back without adding some type of coloration. I don't know. We'll see when I'm done with all this hatching and cross hatching. We definitely want to have this darker, but not as dark as underneath. So that's when you end up going in all directions to get it darker. So we'll get this dark enough. And then we'll go back underneath another direction. We'll just go up and down. There we go. And if we want to, we can actually go crossways for even more shadow. Like that. So and try this. I think this is going to turn out really cool if I continue doing this. I always loved anything that's done in this. I tried doing an entire Inktober this way in hatching and cross hatching, and yeah, it didn't turn out that great. I don't know what happened, but it just didn't turn out the way I wanted. So I was kind of disappointed. But I'm thinking about trying again this year. And I'm doing full page spreads this year. So that could be one of the answers to my being able to do that is having a full page spread, because then it'd be a little easier to do. Because you really do have to have that space. So you can add, you don't put in lines where you want highlights, or you don't put in as many lines if you want highlights. And so on and so forth. Because now you can see here, just with hatching and cross hatching, I've been able to make this hat look darker than the rest of the picture. And to the brain, it's going, oh, it's black. So that's what you're going for. It's just making it look more or less. You're just going with tonal values. And God knows we've covered enough of that this year in Drawsome. Tonal value. So, I'm going to do the same thing over here. And this part will be dark. It's just like under here. It'll be just as dark. So we're going up and down first. I know it's messy, but I'm not here to win an award. Okay, and then this one in here went crisscross. So we're going to go from left to right. And when we're done with this, we'll go from right to left. And then we're going to go this way. And you can see with every layer, it just gets a little bit darker, a little bit darker. So this is how you can control your tonal values, is by how many layers of these little crisscross lines you put down. So if we wanted it to be even darker, like I said over here in this corner here, you find just an opposite direction and you go with that. So that part's done. Now we're going to get into like the pumpkin and whatnot. I'm going to do this acorn really quick. That's another thing too with cross hatching. The closer the lines are together, the darker it's going to look. So if you start spacing them out apart, it starts looking lighter, which is like what I did here on this acorn. So if I wanted to make this look even darker, let's say on the top here, I'm going to make it this little, just color that in the stem. And then we can bring in some more lines like that, and just keep going crisscrossing, crisscrossing, crisscrossing. And that's how you end up with it being really dark. Like so. So, like that. Henderson, that it looks clear. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, son. I appreciate that. It's all because of you. It's all because of you. So I'm going to do this pumpkin. that. And then I'm going to come up through those lines. Like that. And let's see here. And also, if you bend the lines, you can actually, like, round out something, make it look, rounded by actually bending those lines a little bit instead of them being always perfectly straight. And it makes something look rounded. That's another thing we've covered this year on Drawsome. It's kind of hard to believe that this year is almost over. I'm pretty sure that Jen's going to want to do it again next year, which would be great. Yeah, yeah, it would. I can always add some color to it, like hints of color in things that are, uh, where you use hatching and cross hatching. Don't look bad at all. I might add some color to it, but I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Who was it? Was it Mark Campbell? I'm not sure. I know he can do hatching and cross hatching. It's something that takes some practice, that is for sure. It's not something you can just waltz right into and be like, oh, it definitely takes practice to figure out which way things have to go, which way the lines have to go. But it's actually kind of meditative if you think about it. When you don't think about it, it's even more meditative. You just do it. You see how less stripes make it look lighter here than here? So it looks like this is in the shadow more than this side. So, I mean, you can always go back and add more lines if it doesn't seems too light. As long as you curve them. It gives you that sense of curve. And then if you lose any of your darks, you just go back over it in another direction. Like that. Like so. So you can see how something done in you know, hatching can take a while. It really can. But that's okay. Artwork shouldn't be like instantaneous. It should take some time. Just darkening up this shadow on this side of the hat here. There we go. Now we're going to work on the rest of the pumpkin. And then I think I'm just going to color it. This will be a black around here. And then the moon behind there. And then we should be good. And then I can go ahead and maybe color in a few things. I got to erase all of the lines. So I think maybe what we'll do is take some colored pencils and finish this off. I think colored pencils would look good. And I've got them sitting right here. I'd like for one day to do something like what that gentleman on Instagram does. Do something really formal looking. because his artwork is just fantastic. I like that. That's looking good. That's looking real good. Nobody ever said that this hatching and cross hatching and crisscross hatching was going to be easy. But it just has that look about it that really, I don't know. I don't want to say primitive, but the texture is just amazing. And that's what I like about it. There we go. Get some of these wispy, grassy things done. Get them out of the way. There we go. Okay, we'll go this way. Try and get some more. I think this pumpkin's almost done here. Looks like it is. There we go. Get those in there. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to erase all of our lines. All of our sketch lines, anyway. And we will consider some color. And I'm thinking that the moon in the back would look best in just a gray pencil. I can probably get the details in the moon that way a lot easier than I could with cross hatching. I think that would take a little too much time, actually. But once we get rid of all this, so there. I like the way this looks. There. Oh, and one other thing too, folks. I am not recording this for a video tomorrow because I was having some issues. Again, thank you, my son. To with my um, record streaming stuff. So I wasn't impressed with that. But he was able to get it to work. Might try some of this hatching and cross hatching in pencil, see what that does. It's just on the moon anyway. No, we'll do it this. Yeah, we'll do it the same way. Okay. And black. What are we going to do for black here? We're going to use our brush pen. Let's use this. And this is just my floof pen. I use this to put in his shadows for his colory fur, his colorless fur. But it's an easy way of putting in a background as well. And I got a large area to cover, so we're just going to do it this way. It's funny, I always end up reverting back to this style of art when it comes to Inktober. And it's, I don't know, just comfortable for me, but I also like the way it looks. So, I don't know. Give me a comment down below if this is what you like seeing me do. Because all of October is going to be very similar to this. But with Floof and Floofette, of course. Come on. Why aren't you working? Okay, we're going to have to switch to something else because that's not working. Let's get out. Do I have a big marker? Let's see if this will work. Because that just wasn't happening. I used to put color into some of Floof's pictures. Um, I did one whole Inktober with it was all black and white ink, but I used colored pencils, and then I think the year before that it was just all colored pencils. Very little ink work was done. I wish I had had the guts enough to really push myself, but I just started doing art as a public thing and trying to sell art and all that. I don't even think I had my channel, my YouTube channel, but I hadn't a single video on it yet, and I was very, very, very afraid of putting myself out there. Still not that comfortable with it, but I have, every time I put a video up and everybody comments on it, how wonderful my art is. It just makes me feel so great, and I really do appreciate it, and it's wonderful. It really is, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it because it's what keeps me going, literally. Otherwise, I probably would have quit a long time ago. Is it just me? Does this look patchy and garbagey? I'm not liking the way this is laying down here. But I don't want to get the paint out. That's going to take away from the whole thing. Maybe if I put colored pencil over it, it'll smooth it out a little bit. I wanted the backdrop to be much darker so you can really, the moon will really pop off of the page. So that's why I'm doing this. Also, I know that Jen will be putting a video up tomorrow, as far as I know. She just couldn't make it to our live feed. But she did do a Drawsome video. I think she's got it scheduled to go up tomorrow. Um, so I want y'all to really definitely go and check that out if you're in a major need of some Drawsome. Um, because knowing her, it's going to be really cute. Um, the way she does, like, takes part in the prompts, the way she interprets it is just so cool. I just love. I never know what she's gonna do. I never know what she's gonna do, and it's just always such a surprise for me. Be like, oh, that's what you do. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And then recently, we've been like almost like reading each other's minds. It's so crazy. She'll do something, and my picture will look very similar. It's kind of comical. In fact, it's very comical. as soon as I get this black background done, we will get this color in here. Now you see how the acorn stem comes out into where it's supposed to be black? What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this little white area around it. That and this stem, this leaf. So that it has like a little white border. And that way you can still kind of see it. And that is how that is done. Like so. Okay. Now we need some greenery for the greenery. I'm going to go over these leafy things, or the grass here rather, with the same green. Let you know it's grass. If I did it in brown, you'd be like, well, what is that? I mean, unless I did little, like, seed things made it look more like wheat. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to, underneath of here will be like a brown. Because these maple leaves are going to be like yellows and oranges. So, yeah. Let's see. Where's the brown I was just talking about? Is that it? Yeah. I'm thinking our cat. What colors should we make our cat? Because we're not doing a black cat, because that would just be, you wouldn't see it. And that would not be good. So, if you also notice that the hatching on the picture, you only need one color. You don't have to like over color it and then change to make it shadowed. The shadow's already put in for you because you did the hatching and the cross hatching. Kind of cool, huh? I think that's my favorite thing is doing the fall leaves. What was the other picture I did with the fall leaves? Oh, that was for my smart art picture. Yes. You know, if you want to see some really cool looking fall leaves, go check out my last smart art video. Oh my goodness. It's so cute with the squirrel and the owl. It really came out adorable. And if you have watched it, thank you. We do appreciate it around here. I need all the views I can get. Because that's what keeps me from getting, I mean, not the only thing that keeps me from getting monetized, but if I had 1,000 subscribers right this minute, it would take me forever to get the views I need. Because you have to have 4,000 hours, which is that's a lot. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't get enough in a 12-month period. You have to have 4,000 hours in 12 months. Well, I didn't this past year. Of course, I didn't have the subscribers either, but that's beside the point. Because if I had had them, I still wouldn't have had the views. And I don't know if that's, well, that's why everybody prays that one of their videos goes viral, because they need those views, because they have to have that 4,000 viewed hours. So they say the more subscribers you have, the faster you get the hours, which is, well and good. It's just getting those subscribers to view your entire video from beginning to end. That can be a struggle. So let's take that out of there so I don't have a little wonky line. There we go. Next up will be these maple leaves. There we go. And let's see, we're going to pick out this nice red here. It's kind of a burgundy-ish. We want some orange yellow, some bright yellow, and let's see. That's too brown. I think this color for the cat would be good. Put that there. And where is my black? Is that you? Yes, this is you. Okay. Now here's their leaf colors. And the hat, I'm going to just very lightly with some black, with the black colored pencil, fill in, or shade in rather, this black hat. It's just, I mean, literally, I am not even pushing. I am just laying it on the on the paper, and just kind of very gently laying down a little bit of color, because we don't want to lose all that hatching that we did. So we're just gonna very gently, because I think putting in this black background, we kind of lost the darkness of this hat, and that's not something we wanted. So putting in just just a shade of black on this hat kind of brings that back. Like that. And you can see, I'm going to stop right here. You can see the difference between pencil and no pencil. Can you see that difference? I mean, it is literally just putting in just enough to kind of bring back that fact that it's a black hat. Kind of reminds me of the sorting hat in Harry Potter. All these wrinkles. There we go. Now it looks like a black hat again. There we go. Okay. I'm going to leave that out though because we might have to shade a little bit more on the pumpkin too, which I'm going to do next. And I'm just going to, again, do the same thing I did with the hat, where I'm just ever so gently, because we don't need a lot. We've got all that hatching in there to denote, you know, shadow and all that. But now you can see the difference between the darker and the lighter. This is what makes the difference. Is just how many lines you put down in order to make it lighter or darker. So if you struggle with, you know, highlights and all that, try this technique and maybe it's just what you've been looking for. You know, all you gotta do is just keep putting them down in different directions. So how does it look so far? Okay. There's our pumpkin. That looks really good. And now I'm going to pop a little bit of orange onto some of these leaves as well. Maybe not a whole lot, but and this is this is kind of the fun part when you're doing um, fall leaves and that sort of thing. Excuse me. They because they come in so many different colors, but you got to realize too that each leaf has a whole lot of colors. So, or can anyway. So when you're doing this, I'm just gonna put this back. You can let's get those eyes yellow. There we go. And the buckle. Like that. So when you're doing these leaves, and I've already put the yellow in, you can blend in just right over it with another color. But then when you want to go a little darker with that, come along the edge of the first color and lay down a little bit of color like that. See? So you end up with these multicolored leaves instead of them being just like one big flat blip. Because flat is kind of boring. You know what boring. And you still know what these are. It's not like you don't know it's a maple leaf that's in the fall. Kind of makes them look like they're on fire. Like that. And you'll end up like flip-flopping back and forth between pencils until you get them just the way you want them to look. But that's cool. I'll just go ahead and do this one too. Like that. And add some red. And add some more bit of this. Let's see how they just look kind of fiery, like they're on fire. I like that look. There. Like so. Okay. I'm going to take this burgundy and just run it around the edges here. Like that. Kind of give it a little bit of a punch. Alright, so now what we gotta do is finish up the kitty cat and we're good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, it's a darker brown, but again I'm just gonna go over it very lightly. Just to get some color onto the paper. Just a wisp of color. And the reason why we're using this is because it's the correct color, but we just don't want it super dark. So we're just doing the same thing we did with the pumpkin and the hat. And just barely, barely leaving any trace of color. I think we're going to leave this like her muzzle there white. Kind of draws you into seeing her face. And do a pause. There we go. There. I'm going to take the black again and just go over some of these areas that need to be just punched up a little bit. Like the shadowed side of her face and side here. And on this side of her muzzle. And this side of her ear. And under the brim of the hat. Tilt this a little bit. Like that. And then we're going to go over some of these hairs. I'll punch them up a little bit too. On this side of this paw. On this side of this paw. Here. And I think inside the hat right here needs a little bit more. I'll make this a little darker since it's flapped over. Like that. There we go. Awesome. I'm very, very pleased the way this turned out. Awesome. I think I'm going to take this. It's just it's a white ink pen, but it's more like paint. It's kind of like in between ink and paint. I'm just going to put in some stars. I'll make sure they show up. This looks awesome. Very happy with this. There. There is our picture for hats for Drawsome week 37. Really tickled. Came out great, I think. Let me know, what you think in the comment box below. And if you'd like to see more things like this from me, or what you'd like to see from me, I'm an open book. I would love to try any kind of art. I am very I can do acrylics and soft pastels and a little bit of oils. I'm not big into oil painting, but I can do it. And yeah. What else? Charcoal, graphite, watercolors, clay. So yeah, if you'd like to see anything, let me know. Oh, thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. And yeah, I guess I will be seeing you in my next video, which will be Friday afternoon around 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So until then, I sure love y'all bunches. I will see y'all later. Bye.